Copenhagen was our first city in our Canal City of Europe tour this fall. We were so lucky to have gorgeous weather on the days we were there. This video shows our experiences on our first full 2 days exploring the city. We enjoyed the beautiful buildings, the luscious gardens, and lots of delicious food. We took a fun canal tour, visited colorful Christiania, climbed tall towers, and were amazed by the Tivoli Gardens at night. They were truly the most beautiful theme park we had ever seen. Robert did not get me on the roller coaster though. Welcome to the vlog, y'all. We have made it to Copenhagen, as you can probably see. It is a little after 9 o'clock in the morning right now. We arrived at the airport at 6 in the morning. We did not sleep at all on the plane. We're team no sleep, and we're gonna try to go all the way until dinner without going to sleep so that we don't get jet lagged. So team no sleep right now. Left the hotel, left the airport, took a metro to our hostel, put our bags in storage, got some much needed coffee, and we've just been walking through the city. Our hostel is in the more kind of industrial area, so it took us a good while to walk towards the more touristy area where we are now, which has the canal and the really pretty buildings. And we're just gonna do a walking tour of the city today, get some food, look at some castles, so it should be really fun. So we are down by the Castellet Ford, near where the Little Mermaid statue is, and it took us about 30 minutes to walk down to this beautiful harbor area from the Canal Street. And this is just lovely views. My whole childhood, and my dad, well, not my whole childhood, but a really big chunk of my childhood, my dad traveled to Copenhagen for work. So I've always wanted to see Copenhagen because I've heard about it so much from him, and I can see the appeal. It's nice, it's really walkable. We haven't found anywhere to eat yet, and it's almost 10, so I think we're gonna have to work on that. But yeah, we're really enjoying it so far, and we've definitely gotten a lot of steps in so far as well. It is amazing how many people are here to see this. It's like crowds just keep descending, and tour groups and bus groups keep descending, and it is as underwhelming as I thought it would be. That's sad to say, but I love the canal, and I love the waterway. It's in a beautiful location, but the statue itself is pretty, it just is what it is, I guess.
On a scale of Plymouth Rock to south of the border,
it's better than both of those. The Plymouth Rock is so depressing, south of the border is so depressing. It's cool that we saw it, because of the story behind it, more so than anything else. Okay, y'all, this whole having no sleep thing and trying to do a day in Copenhagen, it has been a good day, but following around noon, I was completely struggling. So we got lunch, which wasn't the best. I honestly wouldn't really recommend it. We got sandwiches at this kind of gourmet grocery store. They made one type of sandwich. The sandwich was fine, nothing special. It was kind of a chaotic experience overall. Just probably would have been better off going to a restaurant where we had more options, or but it worked really well because we were both delirious and just needed food, and it was the closest thing to the harbor where we had been sightseeing, and also all of the food spots were just starting to open, and it was just one of the first things that opened. So, but following that, it was 11, we were both starting to really feel the jet lag. So we just took the scenic route back to our hostel, which took about an hour and a half. This morning when we walked, it was all industrial areas and a lot of people riding their bikes to work, which I knew that people were really into bikes, but it's just something different to see so many people on bikes in suits and business attire. It was so cool. You would never see that in America. That was really fun. And then we walked past the Canal Street, and so on the way back to the hostel, we passed multiple beautiful gardens, and there was just people lounging on the benches and reading books and hanging out with their families and taking in the views, and it was just such a vibe. It honestly helped get me through without crashing out back to the hostel. So it was great to spend some time in those gardens, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that tomorrow. We also saw a castle, which I can't remember the name of, but we took some photos of it and some footage, and it was beautiful, but we couldn't go inside of it, I think because there was a special event there today. But normally we would have been able to go inside of it. So today was kind of like a taste of Copenhagen, and tomorrow the plan is to do a much deeper dive, because like we didn't go inside any of the castles. We went inside one small church, but it was mostly just looking at things and taking in the vibes and tried not to fall asleep. By the time I got back to the hostel at 12:30, I could not keep my eyes open. I sat in a chair, because the hostel is amazing, by the way. I've never stayed in a hostel before, and this is definitely a quite nice hostel, and there are just people coming and going all day, hanging out, playing games, cooking. There's a huge kitchen where you can cook food if you are making your own food while you're staying here, so you can, you know, budget, backpack. There's game rooms and laundry, and it is really cool. So there's this huge common area, and so I ended up just passing out there. And then when our room was ready, around like 2:15, we came up, and it has made us both feel so much better to get showered and to get our stuff settled and brush our teeth, because straight from overnight flight to city sightseeing, we were feeling pretty gross. So I am now sitting on, I guess this is kind of like a dingy background, but this is the balcony of our private room in this hostel. So we have this really cute balcony and then a really tiny room in there with our private bathroom. So it's really nice. I think we're gonna lay down here for a good bit and then try to get some dinner. And then at that point, I don't even know how many hours we will have been awake for, and we're gonna go to bed around like 7 or 8 p.m. and face the day tomorrow. Hey y'all, I'm feeling so much better, and I need to wind down to go to sleep. It is 7:30 p.m. I don't even know how long we've been awake at this point, and just taking that rest, getting settled in the hotel gave me a second wind, and around 4:30 we were both really hungry. Oh my gosh, we've been awake for 36 hours. I'm sure once I put my head on the pillow, I will pass out. So at 4:30 we went to get dinner at the Tivoli Food Hall, which is the Tivoli Food Hall, which is connected at the, okay, I'm on 36 hours of not sleeping. The Tivoli Food Hall, which is connected to the Tivoli Gardens. And that was amazing. I highly recommend it. It had so many food options. Asian and Italian, and they had like a Mexican place and Indian, and just all different types of food. Sushi, Thai food, I can't even name it. Tons of burgers, all different types of stuff. It was almost dizzying, and Robert got a chicken pita, like a rotisserie chicken pita with fries, and I got a vegetable curry Indian dish, and it was amazing. I also got a lemonade. That was a great place to have for dinner. Robert and I really like food halls because we don't have to get the same thing and we can still eat dinner at the same place. After that, we just walked the city until we got tired, and it's such a crisp fall day, windy, not cold, just almost perfect temperature, or really perfect temperature. The city wasn't as bright as it was earlier today, and it was just honestly a vibe. We stopped into so many little shops, we people watched, there were tons of people going to and from work, and then coming home from work. And the longer that we stayed out walking, just the streets kind of cleared and it became even more scenic, and it was just great for people watching, great just to take in the city, feeling better than I've felt the entire day, honestly. And last kind of thing that we did beyond just walking the streets and taking it in is we walked up, it's just called the Round Tower.
The Runde Tower.
Okay, that's just a bougie way of saying round tower.
That's Danish for round tower, yes.
Okay, so we walked up the Round Tower, and It really is just a huge round tower. And
It's the oldest continuously functioning observatory in Europe, in at least Denmark, if not in Europe.
okay, it is the oldest continually functioning observatory in Denmark, if not all of Europe, according to Robert. And thankfully, it wasn't stairs, it was a ramp to walk up it. So I was very worried about walking up it, knowing that we're kind of delirious at this point and had been walking a lot of the day. But going up the ramp was not too challenging at all. And then the overlook was amazing. Just seeing so many angles of the city, being able to look and say, that's the castle we saw before. Those are the gardens that we walked through. That's what we want to look at tomorrow. It was an amazing view of the city. So I highly recommend that. And then we came down the ramp and came back towards our hostel, and we're eating some candy I'm about to eat this candy. Robert's already breaking into licorices. Robert loves licorice, and he has been just amazed at how much licorice is available at so many stores here. So we're eating candy in bed, and then we're going to pass out and have an even more eventful day tomorrow, and we will talk to y'all tomorrow. Okay, y'all, our second day in Copenhagen has been amazing. Our first day was also amazing, but just not being as jet lagged. Still recovering a little bit from doing an all-nighter, but not being as jet lagged is a huge help. We slept for 10 and a half hours because we went to bed super early last night, and then we woke up at around 7:30 this morning, got dressed, got ready for the day, and then we went and got pastries because, when in a European country with good pastries, we start the day with pastries. We thankfully got to the bakery before a huge line formed. We got literally right before a huge line formed. So definitely, if you go to this bakery, get there early, but their pastries are so good. I got a cardamom studded cinnamon bun, and Robert got a custard filled pastry, and it was just really good. And we also got cappuccinos, which we took with us as we walked down to the Canal Street. That is kind of the main, I don't want to say it's the main Canal Street, but it's where they have all the colorful buildings that you probably have seen photos of on Instagram if you look up Copenhagen. We were there yesterday, but we were back there today, this morning, to take some more photos and to take a canal tour. We're gonna do a boat tour. I'm really excited. So this is my first hot tip. The ones that we saw, there were 2 canal tours, and one of them has way more advertising and has fancier boats, and they have these big flags. They seem like the main canal tour, it makes it seem like that's the better one. It is more expensive, and the boats are fancier and bigger. Those canal tours cost $30 a person, about $30 a person, and they do run every half hour. So the canal tour that we took only costed $10 a person, so a third of the price. The boat is a bit smaller and dingier, but it is literally the exact same tour in terms of where it takes you. And we had a fabulous time. We were laughing the entire time. Everyone on the boat was super chill. At the end of the day, you're sitting on the boat for an hour. It's more about the surroundings around you. Does it really matter if your boat is a little dingier? No, it really doesn't. And on our boat, we had a really hilarious tour guide who was wearing a banana outfit as a joke that it was a banana boat, and he told jokes the entire time while he talked about historical facts, and he still gave us a tour of the city, but it was just so funny and goofy. We were all laughing the entire time. He would say everything in English, and then he would say everything in Danish. It was a fantastic time.
In the happy north of Europe and not the sad north of Korea. So, can I get higher? Much better. Sounds that you hear me. Thank you very much, and welcome on board of the banana boat to the best hour of your entire holiday, presented to you by Captain Tobias and me, Christopher. I'm gonna be your guide for the next hour, showing you around here in the harbor and the canals of wonderful. Any questions? Any questions of any kind? Just feel free to Google them. Fire. On our right, we do have the Opera of Copenhagen, which was gifted to the city of Copenhagen by the shipping company Maersk. You can do that right over there. And if that still doesn't impress you, I can also tell you that This building has got a restaurant inside. So if you one day feel the urge to go dining on a waste incineration plant, you can do that right here in Copenhagen. And if that does not impress you, I can also tell you that this building has got a climbing wall on the side face towards us. So if you want to go climbing, you can do that right over there. The back of the Little Mermaid. Unfortunately, we're not able to see much more than the back from here. Exactly same size as we're seeing today. The only difference is that you only get to see their roofs and that they do not even have a banana man. But if you ask me, this building looks more like some chocolate that you forgot in your drawer and has got that weird white Queen Margaret, and on the right of King Frederick and Queen Mary. They are not at home, as you can see, because the flags are not hoisted on the roofs. Behind the palace we have the Marble Church, which has got the biggest dome in Northern Europe. Oh, but they have removed the chimney in case that she starts smoking again, yeah? Can have to the best. Or as Mark Twain said, to quit smoking is the easiest thing to do in the world. I have done that 25 times before. Bodies, many girls in bikinis, you know. But of course they're all in my home right now, so you have to come back later. We are currently sailing through part of the city which is called Christianshavn. This relates to Christian's Harbour and was founded by King Christian IV in the beginning of the 17th century. He also founded an international business city that should attract business people because they should, of course, rather come to Denmark than to the Netherlands to do their business here. This is why the king hired some Dutch architects to design those buildings here, and it's a reason why we still today have a part here in Copenhagen that looks so much like Amsterdam. And if you go just a few hundred meters into our left-hand direction, you get to the Freetown of Christiania, and down there, it doesn't even smell like in Amsterdam.
It gave us a much better sense of what all was in the city and what we could do the rest of the day. We already had stuff in mind, but just seeing everything and knowing what all the buildings were and some of the history and the stories behind them was amazing. I would probably say that I kind of wish we had started with a canal tour. I'm perfectly happy to have done it today. It would be a good place to start a trip because you just get this tour of the city and have a lot of information about stuff you might want to do in the city. After the canal tour, we both were pretty hungry and needed some lunch, and it was around 11 at this point. We took the metro, and you can walk, but we just wanted to get there more quickly, so we took the metro 2, maybe 3 stops. I think it was only 2 stops. Okay, it should have been 1 stop, but we went accidentally the wrong direction, and then we ended up going 2 stops, but it should only be 1 stop to get to, what was the name of the place we went to? So we went to Christianshavn, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that was the kind of borough that we were in. And then where we had lunch specifically was Freetown Christiania. This place, Freetown Christiania, is full of graffiti and all types of interesting art that is mostly from graffiti. And it is full of color and lots of restaurants, lots of candy and drinks, and it is definitely very touristy, but just in a fun way. There's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with something being targeted to tourists if it's a good experience and the people there are, you know, happy and benefiting from it as well. Yeah, it was a great vibe. Everyone was super happy that, you know, tourists were there and welcoming us, and it was just a really fun vibe. There was like a garden path that we walked through to get there. So that was scenic, and then the food was really good. We ate at a restaurant that was mostly vegan, but they still had meat options. And I got quiche and potatoes and this vegetable greens and bean curry, and every bite was so good. I ate every single bite. It's probably the best food we've had so far on the trip. Super filling, super healthy, like so many greens and herbs in it. Highly recommend. If you're gonna eat there, recommend that restaurant. You pick either 3 items or 5 items from the items they've cooked that day, and it's just a set price. After lunch, so I will say that a little more about Freetown Christiania. So I think it still is an anarchist commune, but it used to be much more seedy than it is now. It used to be somewhere where you could buy any type of drug, and there was some gangs and just some more seedy things going on there. And they have gone through an effort to change that. It used to be that you couldn't take photos or film there because people there would literally break your camera potentially because, you know, there was crime happening there and they didn't want it being filmed. It's very different now. They actually have signs everywhere saying take photos. Like every other street, there is a sign saying, please take photos, because they want it documented, the changes they've made, and just that it's a very different place now. So that was a good experience. We're there for a couple hours, just walking around, taking it in.
The center of the QR code's a mushroom. Can you do a kickflip?
I cannot do a kickflip, but you knew that.
Can Irma do a kickflip?
Can who?
Irma?
I don't know anyone that can do a kickflip, as far as I know. And then from there, we hiked to the top of Church of Our Savior, which is the highest point in Copenhagen that you can walk up, I believe. We're gonna climb the tower. I'm not sure I have that many thoughts about it yet.
It's a pretty imposing tower.
It's a very steep climb, but I think it's going to be worth it because we can already see the canals. So, we continue. I think we're gonna let people go and then we'll go up. That's what I think we'll do. We made it! Oh, this is awesome.
We're not at the top yet.
Oh, we're not? Oh, but we're outside.
Yeah.
So the top is just the top of the staircase. And it's actually a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful, but it's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I guess that's the Copenhagen waste reclamation plant that you can ski down the top of over there. And then you got some windmills out on the distance, and somewhere in the distance there's the Orson Bridge to Sweden. But it's too overblown in terms of exposure to see everything.
I'm scared. We are resting on the outdoor platform before we go all the way down all those stairs again. And it's nice, I feel safer just like on this wraparound platform than I did at like the tallest stairs above us, for sure. So we are back down on the ground from hiking the tower. And I admittedly feel a sense of relief. I am not really someone that's scared of heights. Like I love lookouts, I love climbing things and seeing the lookouts. But there's something about being fully outside of like what I know is the tip of the building. And once you get to the tallest stair, there's no platform. Like you're just at the tallest stair. And I was starting to shake. But it was worth it, but I'm glad to be down. It was a great experience just in terms of the views at the top, although I realized I was a little scared of heights. I like heights and I like stuff like that, but just being at the tippity top in the air, because there's not like a safety rail or anything, like you're just up there. Yeah, it was interesting. So highly recommend that. That took probably at least an hour. So a tip for hiking that church, they only allow a limited number of people at a time because the stairs are very narrow. So it makes total sense that you just don't want a ton of people going up all of these stairs at once and, you know, getting hurt or causing traffic jams. So you have to reserve your slot online. You do it on your phone. If you get to that church and you want to go to the top, just make sure that you reserve your spot on your phone right away. For us, we got there around 1:30 and we were able to reserve a spot at 2. And so we just waited for like half an hour for our spot to open up, and then we did the walk. And then we were thinking about taking the metro back to where we're staying in Copenhagen, but we decided to just do a scenic walk instead and skip the metro ride. And honestly, that was completely the right decision. Robert always manages to find a Pokemon store. This is the second Pokemon store that he's found. We saw this beautiful bridge and we could see the canal boat tours passing under a lot of the bridges that we walked by. So that was just fun to see and walk through the places that we had seen in the morning on the canal tour. We were now like getting more up close and personal with them. So I definitely liked that. And as we get closer to our hotel, we came across a bunch of shopping. And this morning, all of those shops were closed. So there wasn't much going on in the big shopping street. But this afternoon, everything was open. So we went into just several shops. Robert bought a t-shirt at his favorite store, Uniqlo. And we just enjoyed just leisurely walking, hopping into shops, taking in the city. It was a great time. We got back to our hotel around 4 and we've just been resting because it has been a lot of activity today. I'm probably gonna maybe get a cup of tea down in the hostel common area, maybe read a book. And then probably around 5 or 6, it's almost 5 now, so probably around 6, once you've had a little more time to rest, we're gonna get dinner and then go to the Tivoli Gardens. So we ate at the Tivoli Food Hall last night, and this is now we're gonna go to the gardens and actually experience the theme park, which is really famous, and everyone has told us that we should go there. Hey y'all, so it is bedtime now. It is about 11:15. We've had a long but really, really good day, and we're both super tired. We are ready to go to sleep, probably like as soon as I finish this clip. We rested at the hotel until around 6, like I thought, and then we walked over to the, oh my gosh, I'm gonna say the name wrong. Okay, we walked over to the Tivoli Gardens at around 6, and we decided to just eat in the Tivoli Gardens, and we thought we were gonna end up going back to the food hall, but there is a ton of food inside the gardens. So it's a 3 Michelin star restaurant pop-up, and it hasn't popped up yet, so we can't go. It's also almost $400 a person to eat there. The gardens were amazing. Highly recommend. They have been there since sometime in the 1800s, so it's not like this is a new thing that has popped up. Like, these have been in Copenhagen for hundreds of years, or at least a couple hundred. It's just, there's so much going on. It took us over an hour to walk through and look at everything. There were so many theme park rides. Every time that I thought I had seen all the rides, there were more rides, like some for kids, some for adults, a lot of classic theme park stuff, and then some that looked newer to me, but I don't go to a lot of theme parks.
Can we do it?
I'm not doing it.
I mean, it's not that tall. It's only a couple loops to corkscrew.
I'm scared just looking at it. I don't like roller coasters. We could go on the boats and just calmly ride around in this little boat riding area instead of the roller coaster. See, that's the height that I'd be willing to do one of those like dropping rides, but that's only for kids, so I can't go. It's doing its little things. Oh, its feathers look all messed up though. It's coming over to us.
Pretty sure this is the basis for the Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom, where you can get unlimited breakfast buffets with Winnie the Pooh and friends.
How often did you get breakfast buffet with Winnie the Pooh and friends?
Pretty much once a year.
As a child?
Yes.
Does this bring back memories?
Yeah.
just to see that integrated in with the way they had done the decor and just all these beautiful flowers, and it was truly artistic, and they did have art and shops and lots of candy shops. We stopped in a licorice shop for a while because Robert loves licorice. They had restaurants and typical kind of park food also. So some of the restaurants were nicer and fancier, and then some of the places to eat were like ice cream places and candy stands and donut shops and hot dogs and that type of stuff. But there was a lot of various types of food. We ended up eating at an Asian restaurant. The food looked beautiful. It looked way prettier than it actually was, or than it actually tasted. So I got a cherry mocktail, which was really good. I also got a tofu curry, and it was very pretty, but pretty bland in flavor. However, the best part of that meal, like the vibes in that place were immaculate. It was super clean. The staff was super nice. The food was, like I said, it just needed a little more flavor. And then after we finished dinner, it was dark and they put lights on all the rides, and there was just lights everywhere. And so we enjoyed walking through that. It was like a whole different aspect to the theme park. And with the lights on, you can't see the beautiful plants as much and all of the garden aspects as much, but it was just so beautiful to see all the lights and the lights reflecting over the water. And they run the rides until 10, and so the last thing we did before we left is we rode on this ride that's a bunch of swings, and it goes up and out and around, and the person running the ride actually let us ride for free, so that was really sweet of her, and it was just a great way to end the day. So the main reason why we wanted to come here in the evening to end our day is we wanted to see everything all lit up, and so far it is really pretty. It's a little bit after 9. We got to walk through the whole gardens with the lights on, which was beautiful, and we haven't ridden any rides yet, but we've decided we're gonna finish our night by riding the swing ride that is in this beautiful rose garden. And it just feels like a good way to end our second day in Copenhagen. Although we've ended the day by hanging out in our hostel common area, and it was bumping. It was poppin'. People were playing games and hanging out and drinking and talking, and I ended up getting some tea and a chocolate muffin and just kind of enjoying being around people enjoying themselves. So this whole hostel experience has been really great. I feel like this is a nicer than usual hostel, but I could see how if I was solo traveling, I could stay at a place like this and just make friends and meet fellow travelers, and I feel like it'd be a really positive experience. So tomorrow we're doing a day trip to Sweden, and that's just going to be its own video. So talk to you tomorrow about